Hey guys, grateful to have like a space where I can work and do my stuff here at the Montreal International Jazz Festival. Um, but I want to talk about like a topic that's like really been bugging me lately because I think that it's so important, and I've been like figuring out ways to like rehash it and write it in certain ways, but I think it applies in so many situations, especially like when you study like Eastern religion and you study different religions and you study how um, interpersonal relations are, you study communications, you study all of these things. You gotta understand there's like some rules of conducting yourself that um, should come together. These rules should be like universal, but like maybe you haven't heard them before, or maybe you haven't had the opportunity to hear what I've heard or whatever. I maybe like 8 or 9 years ago, I might have tried to make a video like this and not been able to pull it off and didn't know what I was talking about. But like I'm in my 30s now, and I've been doing journalism for like 11 or 12 years, like on a very public platform. I've had some pitfalls sometimes, and I just deal and roll with it. My videos have been seen millions of times. So let's talk about these rules and stuff, okay? So if you're a musician and you're just getting started in music, let's talk about jazz since I'm a jazz bass player. If you're just getting started in music, you need to have a sense of being humble. You don't know what you're doing on the instrument yet. It's hard. It's a difficult thing to grasp, and rightfully so. If an older musician tells you off, that's okay. That's the way the music should work. But if you're an established musician and you're traveling to the Montreal International Jazz Festival, the largest festival in the world, there are some things you should appreciate. Corporate organizations put this together for us jazz musicians. Don't forget, like 2 or 3 years ago, people were worried about not having a career. And these guys up here in Montreal do a stellar job, no matter who it is in charge of the Montreal Jazz Festival. So if you're a jazz musician and you're a real jazz musician, I don't care if you were Miles Davis or Wynton Marsalis, the guys who may be the exception. If you're a jazz musician or a musician and you're playing in Montreal, you have some obligations to the rest of the audience. You're getting paid to play. So if there's people who are excited to see your music, you should treat them with respect. And if there's journalists who are interested to interview you, you should make some time. And if you can't make time at the festival, you should at least make other arrangements on how this person can speak with you. Refusing to speak to journalists and refusing to speak to artists is not okay. Who said that you're better than any other person? What, all of a sudden you're famous so you can't talk to anybody? Journalists are there at the festival to help share the benefit and how good this festival is with the rest of the world. So in my humble opinion, you should be thankful as a musician that these people are covering you and promoting you and giving you an opportunity to play for an audience. Don't shift it the other way around and let it get to your head that you're famous, so therefore you can do whatever the heck you want, and you don't have time for this journalist, or you don't have time for somebody. You're too busy. You've got to go to Europe and brag about your success, and then complain later when just music is suffering. So my message to you as jazz musicians is absolutely, 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 you need to learn about interpersonal relations. You need to learn about bettering this music, and you need to learn that it starts with us. Otherwise, this is our generation. This is the easiest generation to do interviews and documentaries and document this music. We have an iPhone. We can live stream to thousands of people right in our hand. Nothing else has to be set up. It's not that hard. And, I just think like this is a very important topic. And yes, there may be issues for myself that I've had to deal with, but this is something I'm seeing happen for a lot of musicians. So get with a program if you're a musician and you're playing in Montreal. Be appreciative of the fact that there's a place to play like this, especially with diseases like COVID around that could come back. I just think these are some of my thoughts, like my humble thoughts about a festival and musicians. Don't worry about me. I got plenty of people to interview, and I'm not worried about what it is that I say here because I have my own series. I own it. I handle everything. It's all mine. And I don't think there's ever been one interview where I made somebody look bad. And I don't think that there's any other jazz journalists or people out there that make people look bad. What makes you look bad is letting inflation get to your head that you are above people who came to see you play, that you might have even known years ago, that you played with. Now they're so famous that you can't even talk to somebody. So, let's talk about the good, though. The fact that we can do all these things with our phones and social media and Instagram and all of that is wonderful. And I was talking with a well-known jazz radio personality that has hundreds of millions of listens and some amazing interviews. Let's talk about the 1980s. He had to do this over satellite. There was no internet. Things were much more difficult. It was hard to get your stuff out. Now we have video and we have opportunities. So let's not mince them. Thanks for listening to my words. As far as personal relationships, always treat people with respect. Treat people how you would like to be treated. And if you are not treating people like how you should be treated, then there's something going on. You should be thinking about that because you then hurt the other person. And you know what happens? It comes back to you tenfold. Karma is real time. So thanks for listening to my message. Hopefully it makes sense to you. I'm not taking it down. I can say whatever the heck I want on my YouTube, my Facebook, my social media. I haven't dissed anybody personally, but here's my message to you as an artist. If a journalist comes to you and offers you an opportunity to be featured, it's a no-brainer. Why the heck would you turn it down if you're a working musician? If you're somebody like Sonny Rollins on the level like that and you don't even need income and you just play because you play, obviously he can't play anymore, it's a different situation. Thanks for my humble opinion. This is one step at a time how we're going to fix the jazz scene. And don't even get me started about New York City. There's so much of internal nonsense in New York too. And it usually starts with the masculine jazz bros mentality. Women are generally fairly nice in this music, but having jazz bros mentality, a competition, success, put that brother down, all that stuff, I'm so freaking tired of it. And I hope you are too. So thanks for watching. I gotta get back to my festival and have a good time. Good night.